Can you believe it's already the year 2021? We didn't think we'd make it past 2020. But here we are to give you exactly what you need to shed off the horrible feeling of the past year. We all love looking forward to something, especially something to fully immerse ourselves in and forget about everything that is falling apart around us. We're talking about games, of course. So here are our most anticipated games of 2021. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap on the notifications bell for more amazing videos. While 2020 was one hell of a year for every single living being, the world of gaming gained way more tenants in search of a break. From the adorable and relaxing world of Animal Crossing: New Horizons, to being able to travel the world without actually leaving our home in Microsoft Flight Simulator, there was still a lot to do with your indoor life, as bad as it may seem to those who have never experienced the world of gaming. The year 2021 promises some truly amazing games that we cannot wait to get our hands on. Deep Silver brings you an astonishing shooter game set in outer space.
Now we live in an age of unprecedented peace
That lets you experience the world of a skilled warrior, Nara, who's a fugitive on the run from a cult. She's got a spaceship named Forsaken and possesses some deadly super abilities to wreak havoc on anyone who gets in her way. The game is planned to come out on both last-gen and current PlayStation and Xbox consoles, as well as PC.
This ends with us.
There are many new games to look forward to this year, from Software's Elden Ring, Nintendo's sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Blizzard's Overwatch 2. There are, of course, remasters of a few games that are worth mentioning, such as the Super Mario 3D World and Mass Effect trilogy, which promises our lovely Commander Shepard in mouth-watering high resolutions, and has us super excited. But since they aren't entirely new games, we won't be talking about them in this countdown. We all remember the name Arcane Studios for one of the best Assassin's games out there, the ever-incredible Dishonored series. The same name has now come up with the action game about, you guessed it, another assassin named Colt.
Hello, Black Reeds. Colt, my predecessor, has been pronounced guilty of treason.
Who's stuck in a time loop. Here's the catch for him to break this loop. He has to take out 8 targets before that time loop resets. And to throw in more difficulty for Colt, an agent named Juliana is after him. DEATHLOOP also has an interesting multi-layer route that allows players to take on the role of Juliana. The game, published by Bethesda Softworks, will be released on PC and as a timed exclusive on PlayStation 5.
Inevitably, I will break this fucking loop.
Dying Light 2.
My father saved my life. He told me never to forget who I am, where I come from.
Dying Light was perhaps the most talked about first-person action gameplay when it first came out. And so with Techland's Dying Light 2, we expect nothing less. Once more, you assume the role of a swift and skillful protagonist who must jump from rooftop to rooftop, trying to avoid zombies getting physical with you. Dying Light 2 is set to come out in the first half of 2021 for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Every day, the disease tries to crush us and make us forget who we are, but I keep fighting.
Elden Ring.
shattered by someone or something.
In true George R.R. Martin style, who hasn't yet finished writing the end of his legendarily epic saga of the Game of Thrones, this game is no different. After the 2019 announcement of Elden Ring, the dark fantasy role-playing game being developed by FROMSOFTWARE, there's been a distressingly long silence. Game director Hidetaka Miyazaki has called Elden Ring the studio's biggest title yet, which may explain the long wait. Elden Ring was announced for PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One, but will likely come to a future console too if the situation remains the same.
Reach out your hand.
Far Cry 6.
You will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy.
Far Cry and its ridiculously good storytelling with even deliciously evil villains is back again with Far Cry 6, with the villain extraordinaire Giancarlo Esposito as a dictator of a fictional Caribbean island. Players will take control of Dani Rojas, a guerrilla soldier struggling to break free from the island from dictatorial control. Like its predecessors, this game will have players taking on enemies in an open world, which is a tropical paradise frozen in time, according to Ubisoft. Far Cry 6 is set to come to consoles and PC sometime in 2021. Gotham Knights.
If you're watching this, I'm dead.
This is a code black.
One of the more how will this game win or fail kind of games, Gotham Knights is one to anticipate the most. In the world of this game, Batman is dead and it's up to the rest of the Bat family to watch over the streets of Gotham. The game has nothing to do with the world of Rocksteady Games' Arkham series, even though it's being developed by WB Games Montreal, the studio behind Arkham Origins. The action-adventure game will be released for PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Good luck. And goodbye.
Halo Infinite.
Yes!
343 Industries' upcoming Halo game was going to make bank as the Xbox Series X launch title in 2020, but was delayed to sometime in the fall of 2021. With the debut of the gameplay in 2020, fans had mixed reactions, with many comparing its look to Halo Combat Evolved, the first Halo game that launched with the original Xbox. However, let's wait and see how exactly it will win over the fans.
Fight hard! I will.
Hitman 3. We already feel giddy for this one. Pretty sure everyone loved this bald-headed and silent Hitman from the very first game. As is traditional with the series, Hitman 3 will put players in the killer shoes of Agent 47, an international assassin who can assume any identity and use pretty much any tool to take out his targets. The freedom of this game gives way to creatively solve Hitman 3's assassination-based puzzles. Hitman 3 is set to release on PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Hogwarts Legacy.
Every corridor, every portrait, every stone in this castle tells the story.
After years of begging for it, Warner Bros. Plans to deliver us the wizarding world of Harry Potter finally in 2021, with Avalanche Software designing the upcoming role-playing game, in which a customized character learns magic at Hogwarts in a world set in the 1800s. Even though there's word that the release may be pushed further, we still have hope that this is the year we get our hands on it.
Will reveal what you stand for.
The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild 2. We don't have to tell you how important this game is. The nostalgia is already kicking in. The sequel to Breath of the Wild is a direct follow-up to the previous game, something that has never happened before in the Legend of Zelda series, and has the open-world systems and secret-rich environments of the first game. With the way the series is set, it is evident a lot more secrets will be discovered in its gameplay. Breath of the Wild 2 is set to come to Nintendo Switch. Little Nightmares 2. The first little wave of nightmares was an adorable wave of horror. Little Nightmare 2 will continue the story and keep the grotesque vibes going. Six, the first game's heroine, now serves as a helper to newcomer protagonist Mono, who has his own nightmares to face. The game will be released for PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. The Lord of the Rings, GOLLUM. Another kick of joy for the book nerds in all of us, GOLLUM is a stealth game that tells the story of that one character we all loved to hate and hated to love. The game will follow known and important Lord of the Rings events, but from the most tragic victim of this tale's perspective. The game that lets us see the world of Tolkien from the eyes of Gollum. This game is set to release sometime in 2021 for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Windows, and Nintendo Switch. The OUTLAST Trials. This game refuses to let us breathe with their non-stop onslaught of horror games that leaves us running in circles till we can evade the grotesque beings. The OUTLAST Trials will let us co-op with up to 4 players in a survival horror universe. And there's also a solo mode as part of a Cold War era experiment, which sounds nightmarishly perfect. The game is set to release sometime in 2021. Resident Evil Village.
To inform you that Ethan Winters has escaped that fool Heisenberg. Because he is in my castle.
Last but not least, Capcom's next game is a sequel to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and brings back that game's protagonist, Ethan Winters, and its first-person perspective. Series mainstay Chris Redfield also returns, and honestly, we're baffled by how this game's developers want the poor guy to look, disrupting Ethan's new life and forcing him to face new terrors, such as a freakishly tall vampire lady that the internet already loves in a remote village. Resident Evil Village is coming to PS5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X.
There you are.
That's all for today. Let us know in the comments below the game you'll be playing next. Thanks for watching!